Unreasonable Hospitality, the remarkable power of giving people more than they expect. Introduction: the hot dog that changed everything. Imagine you are sitting in one of the most expensive, prestigious restaurants in the world. We are talking about 11 Madison Park in New York City. 4 stars from the New York Times, 3 Michelin stars, and a waiting list that stretches for months. People fly across oceans for this meal. The service is silent, choreographed, and perfect. Will Guidara, the co-owner, is walking through the dining room when he overhears a table of 4 foodies. They've eaten everywhere. They've had the caviar, the Wagyu beef, and the truffles. But as they are finishing their legendary meal, one of them sighs and says, "You know, we've had everything, except a classic New York dirty water hot dog from a street cart." Now, in any other elite restaurant, the staff would smile politely and keep moving. But Will Guidara didn't. He ran out of the restaurant in his tuxedo, bought a $2 hot dog from a cart on the corner, ran back to the kitchen, and convinced his world-class chef to plate it with fine mustard and sauerkraut. He served that $2 hot dog in the middle of a $1,000 dinner. The reaction? The guests didn't just love it. They were transformed. They were crying. They said it was the highlight of their entire trip to America. In that moment, Will realized that perfection is the baseline, but hospitality is the breakthrough. Welcome to our deep dive into Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. This is not just a book for waiters or hotel managers. This is a manifesto for anyone who works with people. It is a guide to how giving people more than they expect can become your ultimate competitive advantage. If you want to learn how to turn a transaction into a transformation, stay tuned. We are about to go behind the scenes of the world's best restaurant to learn the power of the unreasonable. Chapter 1: The definition of unreasonable. Most businesses aim for reasonable hospitality. They aim to be good enough. They follow the rules, they provide the service you paid for, and they call it a day. But Will Guidara argues that reasonable is forgettable. To be unreasonable means to be irrational in your pursuit of making someone feel seen. It means doing things that don't necessarily make sense on a spreadsheet, but make all the sense in the world to the human heart. Service is what you do for someone. Hospitality is how you make them feel. Service is the delivery of the product. Hospitality is the connection you build during that delivery. In a world where everything is being automated, where AI is taking over tasks, and efficiency is the only metric, Guidara argues that genuine, unreasonable human connection is the only thing that can't be replicated. It is the only way to build true loyalty in a commoditized world. Chapter 2: The 95-5 Rule. One of the most practical strategies in the book is what Will calls the 95-5 rule. He suggests that you should manage 95% of your business with extreme discipline, watching every penny, optimizing every process, and being as efficient as possible. But, and this is the key, you take the 5% of your resources that you saved through that discipline and you spend it unreasonably. You spend it on things that have no logical return on investment, ROI. You spend it on the hot dog moments. At 11 Madison Park, they created a position called a Dreamweaver. This person's entire job was to listen to guests and create personalized mementos. If a couple mentioned they were sad to miss the snow back home, the Dreamweaver would arrange for a snow cone machine to be ready at the end of their meal. If a family was heading to the airport to go home to Europe, the Dreamweaver would pack them a New York survival kit for the plane. When you apply the 95-5 rule, you aren't just a business anymore. You are a memory maker. The 95% keeps you in business. The 5% makes you a legend. Chapter 3: Presence is the greatest gift. Guidara points out that in our modern, distracted world, the rarest thing you can give someone is your undivided attention. In a high-end restaurant, the staff is often trained to be invisible. They move silently, they refill glasses without being noticed, but Will realize that being invisible is the opposite of being hospitable. To be hospitable, you must be present. He shares a story about a guest who was clearly stressed. Instead of just serving the food, the server took a moment to stop, look the guest in the eye, and ask, "Is everything okay? You seem like you've had a long day." That tiny moment of human acknowledgement changed the entire energy of the table. We often think we don't have time to be present. We think we have to move faster to be more productive. But Guidara argues that slowing down is actually the fastest way to get results. When you are truly present with a client or a customer, you hear the things they aren't saying. you find the opportunities for unreasonable hospitality that everyone else is too busy to see. Chapter 4. The Power of Language. How you speak about your work changes how you perform your work. At 11 Madison Park, they didn't have customers. They had guests. They didn't have a dining room. They had a stage. Guidara insists that language shapes culture. If you call someone a client, you treat them like a transaction. If you call them a guest, you treat them like someone you've invited into your home. He also talks about the rule of 3. If a guest asks for directions to the restroom, you don't point. You don't tell them it's down the hall. You walk them there. You ensure they arrive. This small shift in language and behavior sends a message to the employee and the guest alike. Every detail matters. Chapter 6. Creating a culture of ownership. How do you get your staff to care as much as you do? How do you get them to run out for hot dogs in their tuxedos? The answer is ownership. Will didn't just tell his staff what to do. He invited them to participate in the why. He gave his team the budget and the authority to be unreasonable on their own. He empowered them to make decisions without asking for permission. He shares that a team that feels like they own the experience will always outperform a team that is just following a manual. When an employee has the power to wow a customer, they aren't just doing a job, they are exercising their creativity. This leads to higher retention, better morale, and a level of service that no amount of training can buy. Leadership, according to Guidara, is about being a servant leader. Your job as the boss is to clear the obstacles out of the way so your team can do the work of hospitality. You are there to support them, not to micromanage them. Chapter 7. Criticism is a gift. One of the most challenging parts of the book is Guidara's take on criticism. In the world of fine dining, a bad review can be a death sentence, but Will learn to see criticism as a gift of information. When a guest complains, they are giving you a roadmap of how to be better. Most businesses get defensive when they receive feedback. They try to explain why the customer is wrong. But unreasonable hospitality means listening to the complaint, validating the feeling, and then going above and beyond to fix it. He tells a story of a guest who complained that their steak was overcooked. Instead of just replacing the steak, the kitchen replaced the entire table's meal so they could all eat together at the same time, and then they gave the guest a tour of the kitchen. They turned a failure into the best part of the night. If you handle a mistake with unreasonable care, the customer will often end up more loyal than if the mistake had never happened in the first place. Chapter 7. The Beauty of the Long Game. In business, we are often obsessed with short-termism. We want to see the profit this month. We want to see the result today. Unreasonable hospitality is a long game strategy. It costs money to buy hot dogs. It costs time to make snow cones. It costs energy to walk someone to the restroom. In the short term, these things look like waste. But Will Guidara shows that these are actually investments in the brand soul. When 11 Madison Park became the #1 restaurant in the world in 2017, it wasn't just because the food was good. It was because they had thousands of people around the world who felt like the restaurant was their second home. They had built a relational business in a transactional world, and in the long run, the relational business always wins. Chapter 8. Applying the philosophy to your life. As we come to the end of this summary, take a look at your own life and work. You don't have to run a 3-star Michelin restaurant to be unreasonably hospitable. If you are a real estate agent, it's about more than just showing a house. It's about leaving a handwritten note and a bottle of wine in the new home. If you are a software developer, it's about more than just fixing a bug. It's about sending a personalized video to the user explaining how you solved it. If you are a parent, it's about more than just making dinner. It's about creating a themed night that your kids will remember forever. Unreasonable hospitality is a choice to make the people around you feel special. It is a choice to add a little bit of extra to the ordinary. Will Guidara's message is simple. We are all in the hospitality business, whether we know it or not. The world is hungry for connection. The world is thirsty for kindness. And if you are willing to be unreasonable in your giving, you will find that the rewards you receive in return, both in your business and in your heart, are beyond anything you could have imagined. Conclusion, the final domino. The story of 11 Madison Park is a story of what happens when you refuse to settle for good enough. It is a story of what happens when you prioritize people over pixels and connection over convenience. The hot dog cart was just the beginning. By the time Will Guidara left 11 Madison Park, they had redefined what it meant to dine. They proved that you could be the best in the world not by being the most exclusive, but by being the most inclusive. So, what is your hot dog? Who is that person in your life or your business who needs to be seen? What is that one small thing you can do that would be considered unreasonable? Do it. Don't worry about the ROI. Don't worry about the time. Just do it because it's the right way to treat a human being. When you choose unreasonable hospitality, you aren't just building a career. You are building a legacy of kindness. You are proving that the most powerful thing in the world is a person who truly cares. Outro. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. We hope the summary has inspired you to look for the 5% moments in your own life and to give people more than they expect. In a world that is moving faster and faster, the most revolutionary thing you can do is slow down and be kind. If you enjoyed this content, if you like deep dives into the books and philosophies that can transform your business and your personal life, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us grow and allows us to keep bringing these remarkable stories and strategies to listeners like you. Thank you for listening, and remember, be unreasonable, give more, and watch the world open up for you.